In keeping with its mandate, the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMBN, has been providing affordable housing for Nigerians who are contributors to the National Housing Fund (NHF) scheme. In doing this, the FMBN evolved policies and even went into partnership with various organizations to meet the housing needs of the populace. In furtherance of this drive, the bank is collaborating with the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC), the Trade Union Congress (TUC), the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association (NECA), to provide about 3,448 housing units spread across the country under the Ministerial Pilot Housing Scheme project.
The Ministerial Pilot Housing Scheme is a kind of an interventionist idea, in the sense that sometime in 2012, I guess December 2012, the then Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development looked at the situation of the housing stock in Nigeria and thought of a quick win solution to the challenge that we had. Every other person has always been talking of so many millions of housing deficit in Nigeria. And so for her then, she looked at it to say, in any little way we could come around to achieve some kind of delivery on housing stock within a very short period of time, in line with the current federal government's transformation agenda.
The FMBN and the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development are in partnership on this housing module. In order to speed up the delivery of these houses for Nigerians in the formal and informal sector, private real estate developers have been contracted to undertake their construction. The FMBN provides the funding for these projects.
We have the ministry, and that's our parent ministry. That's the ministry, Federal Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. We have Federal Mortgage Bank, and we have the private sector developers, so to say. For the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, they come on board providing both land and some level of supervision for the project. They are the one that provide the land we use for all these projects. The ministry has land in practically all parts of the country, so from time to time they can readily cede some of their lands for such projects. And so they donate land. Federal Mortgage Bank, being a financial institution, comes on board through the funding aspect, the financing aspect. We put down the money to finance the construction of the houses.
And 2 housing units to the glory of God and to the...
Some of these completed housing estates have been commissioned by the Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Mrs. Akon Eyahenyi. Meanwhile, the Kaduna State government, on its part, has tapped into this opportunity of partnering with the FMBN in providing affordable housing for its residents. More so, when it has been making conscious efforts to decongest the state metropolis by creating new districts and layouts. The Millennium City layout is one such area, and that is where the Kaduna State Ministerial Pilot Housing Project is constructed. The estate was developed by Sky Diamond Logistics Company, a private developer on land allocated to the FMBN by the Kaduna State Governor, Mukhtar Ramalan Yero, with all statutory fees waived to remove any form of delay. Construction work on the Ministerial Pilot Project started in March 2014, with a well-structured plan to deliver 200 units of housing, comprising 2- and 3-bedroom semi-detached bungalows, as well as 1-bedroom terrace buildings. The 200 units of housing have all the necessary infrastructure, such as a good road network, drainage system, overhead water tanks, plus provision for connection to the national grid. The houses are numbered and the streets named for easy identification.
Because it was the state governor that allocated the land and waived all the statutory fees, which the Federal Mortgage Bank ought to have paid, at least almost over 30 to 40 million naira. So when we write to the state government, they waive all the statutory fees. So that is why the work is going very fast. He's free. So free from all encumbrance. So we really enjoy the state government for first allocating the land to the Federal Mortgage Bank, and secondly, for waiving all the statutory charges due for payment by the Federal Mortgage Bank.
The houses were built with high-quality materials and fitted with all necessary facilities that would make living in them comfortable.
We had to provide 200 housing units here. And the type of houses are 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and 1-bedroom respectively.
The NHF Act allows any NHF contributor to obtain housing loan which can only be used to purchase a residential house, build a residential house, or renovate an existing residential house by any NHF contributor.
40 years ago, the journey to fulfill every Nigerian worker's need for a house began with the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. The mandate was clear, the challenge daunting, the determination unwavering. Today, the FMBN is better positioned to deliver from manual to highly computerized mode of operations, market-based to customer-based mortgage housing loans, powered by formidable partnership with state governments, including the FCT, the NECA, TUC, NLC, international investors, and Nigerians in the diaspora. No doubt, workers' housing distance is far covered. The FMBN mandate is achievable. Understand us. Partner with us. FMBN. Everyone deserves a home.
The estate was delivered under the collaborative efforts of the Federal Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, the Kaduna State Government, and the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. The ministerial pilot housing project in Kaduna was commissioned by the Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Mrs. Akon Eyehengi, on behalf of the Vice President, Mohammed Namadi Sambu. The event was graced by dignitaries, which include Governor Mukhtar Ramalan Yero, the Managing Director of the FMBN, Gimbaya Ukumo, government officials, members of the armed forces, and other stakeholders in the housing subsector. While delivering his opening remarks, the FMBN Managing Director, Mr. Gimbaya Ukumo, said the Nigerian housing sector recorded a number of giant strides in its plans to readdress the huge housing deficit in the country.
We are commissioning another estate here in Kaduna, which is being built by one of our developers, Sky Diamond Nigeria Limited. This estate was delivered under the collaborative partnership of the Federal Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Kaduna State Government, and the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. I also want to put it on record that it is only here in Kaduna that we have been given this unencumbered land. All waivers with regards to processing fees and all fees that are payable have been waived for us by His Excellency the Amiable Governor, which means that the cost of the prices for these houses in Kaduna will be lower than any other one we are building across the nation.
He also said that the management of the FMBN has been able to turn around the fortunes of the bank as a result of the visionary focus provided by President Goodluck Jonathan in his vision for wealth and job creation.
Studies have proven that an average of 17 jobs are created for the construction of a 3-bedroom bungalow. Specifically in terms of employment generation, it is estimated that through its housing facilities, FMBN has contributed to the creation of over 400,000 jobs over the years. The capacity to, however, sustain the level of housing development is severely curtailed by the gross undercapitalization of the bank.
Gimbaya Ukumu also expressed satisfaction with the current policy on national housing and urban development, a creation of the federal ministry dedicated to housing and urban development, as well as other various strategic actions undertaken by government to facilitate housing delivery in Nigeria. These, according to him, informed the efforts of the FMBN and the Federal Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development to work hard towards actualizing President Goodluck Jonathan's transformation agenda in the area of housing. The representative of the Trade Union Congress, TUC, spoke on the efforts of the FMBN in actualizing the goals of providing affordable housing. He also commended what the government is doing through the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria.
We sincerely want to appreciate the federal government because the good work Gimba is doing without the support of government and without even renewing, I'm sure it was because of the good work his tenure was renewed. We want to appreciate government for that. Gimba has started work and started a very good job. Before now, of course, you do remember that Labour pulled out and said we don't want to contribute to the housing fund any longer. And when Gimba came, he consulted and engaged Labour and NECA, and we came together and agreed. And having seen the good work he's doing, that we must commence payment of the housing fund, and we urge all our members to do same.
Kaduna State Governor Mukhtar Ramalan Yero also spoke at the occasion.
I feel profoundly delighted to be here today at the auspicious occasion of the commissioning of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria Sky Diamond Estate Kaduna. This event is indeed significant as it underscores the commitment of both the federal government of the federal government of Nigeria and the Kaduna State government to the actualization of our housing development program and policies. I am happy to note that with the commissioning of this housing estate today, our dream of providing safe, comfortable, attractive, functional, affordable and identifiable shelter in a proper environment is gradually coming to fruition.
Governor Yero further expressed happiness over the construction of Sky Diamond Estate, which he said has further lifted the face of the Millennium City. He promised to continually partner with the FMBN for the further development of infrastructure in the estate. In his closing remarks, Governor Mukhtar Ramalan Yero thanked the federal government, the ministry, and the FMBN for their continuous support to Kaduna State in its vision for urbanization.
The Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria and indeed the Federal Ministry of Land, Housing and Urban Development have supported Kaduna State government in its quest in achieving its vision in urban renewal and housing development. Recently, the sum of 1.6 billion was expended in the construction of 483 housing units comprising of 2-bedroom detached and semi-detached and 3-bedroom detached and semi-detached and blocks of flats in the Millennium City, Zaria, and Kafanchan. The entire fund for this project was provided by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. The commissioning of this estate today is a celebration of another high point of the cooperation between the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria and the Kaduna State Government.
In her speech, Mrs. Akon Eyehimi said that President Goodluck Jonathan's efforts to provide decent and quality housing for the people of Nigeria is driven by the national policy on housing that places the private sector squarely in the driving seat of housing development.
The administration of our President, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, has the housing sector placed in a very, very high position in his transformation agenda. He has done everything possible to ensure that the housing sector sees the vision, sees the fulfillment of the vision that he has for Nigerians come to pass. His own vision for this sector is that every Nigerian should have a shelter over his or her head. And so policies and other things to ensure that this is done well has been put in place by the ministry.
She also said that the FMBN will not relent in moving the Nigerian housing sector to the next level of sustainable development to establish a lasting legacy of affordable home ownership and a thriving culture of mortgage lending.
Undoubtedly, the provision of housing represents the satisfaction of the basic human need for shelter. Beyond this, however, it is widely acknowledged that the role housing plays is vital to the socioeconomic construct of any society. Housing not only adds considerable aesthetic value to our living space, but also contributes significantly to the common wealth and the national economy.
The minister, on behalf of the Vice President, who was the special guest, said that the federal government is happy with the FMBN and the Federal Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development for coming up with the ministerial housing scheme. This, she said, has begun on a good note towards the delivery of housing to Nigerians who wish to purchase these houses through a mortgage loan arrangement. The minister urged people in the private sector to double their efforts in the area of housing development in order to close the gap of the housing deficit in Nigeria.
Today, on behalf of the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Architect Namadi Sambo, to commission Alhaji Mokhtar Yero housing estate today to the glory of God and to the benefit of humanity. So it's going for what? How much? It's going for like 5.2. 5.2 as against 5. No, you can't take. We still have authority here. It's okay. It's left.
Everyone deserves a home. Showing on NTA International every Monday at 7:30 p.m.
Nigerian Society of Engineers (NSE) has called on the federal government to review the nation's public procurement policy to grant citizens ownership rights to projects being developed in the country. Reviewing the Public Procurement Act will allow Nigerian firms to enter into partnership with foreign firms in the best interest of the nation. The President, Nigerian Society of Engineers, Mr. Ademola Olorunfemi, stated this during the Society's first quarterly press briefing in Abuja. The President said that the Bureau of Public Procurement should work with the NSE, particularly in procurement of engineering services for efficient service delivery. The Nigerian Institute of Surveyors (NIS) has inducted 34 new fellows, bringing the membership of senior professionals to 302 across the country. The Fellowship Award is given as recognition to surveyors who have made significant contributions to the practice of surveying and geoinformatics, as well as those who have achieved a standard of excellence in the profession. The President, NIS, Mr. Ben Omo Akibe, described the Fellowship Award as the highest honor bestowed on any of its members. The Managing Director of Federal Housing Authority (FHA), Professor Muhammad Alamin, has said that the authority will not consider the cost of land, infrastructure and utilities in setting the prices of homes built by FHA. He said this will make houses built by FHA cheaper and affordable compared to those built by private estate developers. This, according to him, is to ensure affordability by Nigerians. Professor Alamin said the FHA will consider building on locations that will enable low-income earners acquire homes of their own. Mr. Justice Ume from Enugu State sent an SMS saying, "How can a businessman that is self-employed benefit from the scheme?"
As a businessman who has his business running and he has a business place and his business has an account through which we can at least have a feel of what comes in for him in terms of the income, he can apply. He must be contributing to National Housing Fund scheme. That's the starting point. Once he's contributing, and he sees a house of his interest in that Enugu, and if he picks interest in any of those houses and he submits his application through a PMB, basic things for him as a businessman who may not have a pay slip because maybe it's just a sole proprietor, like a sole entrepreneur, so he may not have a pay slip. He will have to provide an evidence of what shows a steady monthly income.
For comments, questions and observations, send text only to 080-964-11399 or send an email to fmbn@newagenetwork.com.ng, or you could visit our websites www.newagenetwork.com.ng or www.fmbn.gov.ng for inquiries.